So I'd just like to speak for a few minutes to give a little bit of an overview of my experience with lowering the alarm system and being in touch with reality. And I'd love to hear anything you'd like to ask or share as well. So while you take your time to kind of transition from more of an inner space to the group, I'd just like to say a few things and then hear from you as well. I think it's helpful to get a sense of when we think about being in touch with reality, people often think more about being in touch with fear. Like reality would be having a dose of fear, like, oh, you've got to watch out, you've got to be careful, you've got to make sure you have enough. It's being in touch with a sense of lack and a sense of fear. Usually when people talk about a reality check, it's like, oh no, there's not enough, or I'm not good enough, or I need to do more or fix something. And I'd like you to consider that when we're in touch with our alarm system, if the alarm system has taken over and we're not in danger, then we're not in touch with reality. We're in touch with fear, we're in touch with lack, we're in touch with our alarm system. We're not in the moment, we're in touch with our past, the past impressions. And so if we can uncover in ourselves somewhere in us of aliveness that is willing to be in touch with reality, that wants to have a direct aliveness going on, and that can grow towards trusting that if I'm in touch with reality, there could be appropriate responses that are protective, that are creative, that are fulfilling. I think that we have a strong belief system that I have to stay protected and I have to stay in my alarm system to survive. And I'd like for you to just check in your own experiences if when you're taken over by the alarm system, if your behavior and your relating goes well, is helpful, is supportive, is wise, or not. Once we start to question whether our defenses are protective, we start to also question whether maybe there could be a more life-affirming, life-sustaining way of living coming from an open heart and mind. Then we start to be a bit more willing to do the hard work of coming out of our habits of staying in a place of difficulty and stress most of the time. And so then that's a difficult step when we start to recognize that most of us, most of the time, are living in stress and alarm and fear and lack. And that can be very humbling, and it would be easily disheartening if we don't take care there. But if we can kind of let compassion kind of bloom in response to how much suffering we're living with and have gotten used to living with and are kind of asking ourselves to live with. And that takes so much energy to live in a state of alarm. And so we start to get a glimpse of the possibility that if it takes so much energy to live with my defenses up, what if there's a more natural way of living that doesn't eat up all the energy?